Well, I started hockey last year. My goal was to get my first goal in a tournament.
Setting a goal and working toward it is just one of the pieces to the puzzle that is self-esteem.
So self-esteem, it's a hard thing to pinpoint. There's many definitions of it, but how you feel about yourself, the confidence that you have in yourself, and obviously in relation to mental health, the more that we think of ourselves, the more confidence that we have, the healthier we are going to be in our mind.
In this episode, we look at the broad topic of self-esteem through the lens of children's mental health and well-being. We explore how we, as parents, caregivers, coaches, and educators, can help to foster a solid sense of self-esteem in our children. When we were selected by Storyhive's Open Call, a Telus program designed to capture the voice and experience of communities across Western Canada, we saw it as an opportunity to share some of the people, places, and pastimes that are influencing the children in our community in a positive way. When we reached out for photos, footage, and insights to include in our films, our little town delivered. Having healthy self-esteem means having positive and realistic feelings of confidence in one's ability to think and face challenges. It means believing in our fundamental right as a person to be happy and successful. It is understanding that we are deserving and worthy of being loved and treated with respect both by others and by ourselves. There have been many studies done on the impact that a child's self-esteem can have on the way they function and grow as a person. It has been found that though the influence of self-esteem plays out differently for each child, depending on their own characteristics, in general, a higher sense of self-esteem means a positive increase in attitudes towards learning, improved interpersonal relationships, and a tendency toward better behavior overall. Children with a solid sense of self-esteem are also less likely to be influenced by others, relying instead on their trust in themselves for making the right decisions and following through with the best actions. How we evaluate self-esteem is done on a personal level. A child's self-esteem really boils down to their own evaluations and feelings about themselves. So how do we help a child build healthy self-esteem? How do we, as the adults in their lives, work to cultivate those positive thoughts and feelings that allow our children to go out into the world with confidence and optimism? First of all, we can begin by simply encouraging them to take pride in who they are and what they have already achieved.
So I want you to think about 3 different things that you already do really well.
That I learned to swim and dive.
Swim. I'm pretty good at drawing.
I can do a flip on a trampoline.
Kristen Obukla, an educator with a master's degree in psychology, has worked with children for over a decade. She shares some more ways we can help our children boost their sense of self-esteem.
So we need to carefully encourage them to think outside the box. And I look at this mainly as problem solving. I think it's important to give kids the opportunity to look at a problem, small one, and identify that, yeah, you know what, that is a challenge. How are you going to approach that? What are some things that you can do? What are some ways that maybe we can tackle this? And doing that in a really safe way.
As important as encouraging children to put themselves into situations where they are able to think critically and practice their problem-solving skills is the encouragement we give them throughout the process. Found in books on parenting, textbooks on education, workshops on coaching, and in a ton of articles around child rearing in general, appropriate praise is a highly discussed topic and arguably one of the most crucial tools we have in shaping a child's sense of self-esteem.
When children are praised for success at easy things rather than difficult tasks, they might infer that they lack some ability. So their line of thinking is, if this is really easy and you're telling me, great job, it's probably because you don't think that I can do a lot better than this one simple task. But when children are praised for things that they've taken pride in, or that they have tried really hard to do, or looking at successes by taking chances in things that they might not normally have done, there is some evidence to indicate that this is really helpful for children and will build on their own self-esteem.
Try and be conscious about how you address their progress in their sport, because there's a difference between being critical and being cruel. Everybody needs criticism to get better, but they're already getting criticism from their coaches, they're already getting criticism from judges, refs. They're getting it from all other angles. So if you're watching your kid and you're seeing things that need to be corrected, there's also going to be good things in there, and you need to recognize them as well. Positive reinforcement is just as important as being critical.
As a former competitive gymnast, Brooke reminds us how powerful sports can be in building or tearing down a child's sense of self-esteem. Organized sports can provide the perfect setting to put into practice some of these processes we've been discussing, all while children reap the other wide-ranging benefits that athletes can enjoy.
Gymnastics is an amazing sport. It can build confidence, it builds friendships, it is fantastic.
Really made me a determined person. I think that it has really made me be able to focus when I have something I want to get done. I just get it done.
It's definitely given me more confidence.
I absolutely love seeing everything that they can achieve here. I love seeing everything that they can do. To see the change in all of them, whether they stay with gymnastics or they move on to something else. Seeing their confidence grow it just makes it totally worth it. I have been here with North Peace Gymnastics for the last 9 years.
When I first started gymnastics, I was in a for fun group in Dawson Creek. And then I think it was about 8 or 9, and my family ended up moving to Fort St. John, and I went right into competitive gymnastics and was in competitive gymnastics all the way until I was 16.
I was around 4 years old when I started gymnastics.
Encouraging children to take pride in their accomplishments, applauding the process, and giving appropriate praise and feedback are some of the key building blocks of a growth mindset. According to research done by Dr. Carol S. Dweck, a leading researcher in the fields of social and developmental psychology, a growth mindset means believing that through practice and perseverance, you will be able to achieve success. Whether that success means meeting the goal you've set for yourself, or simply improving your skills or knowledge or attitude in some way, a growth mindset is the opposite of a fixed mindset, where you believe your skills, smarts, and abilities are something you are born with and cannot change. Helping your child to recognize and understand their capacity for growth will have a meaningful impact not only on their self-esteem, but also on their belief that with the right tools and some determination, almost anything is possible.
One of the main things that gymnastics taught me, which helps me achieve in everything, is if you work hard enough, no matter what it is, you can do it.
As important as paying attention to the process is, setting and actually achieving a goal has its place too.
When you're setting a goal, the very first step is to decide on it, and that's to make your wish. And you guys have all done that. Does anybody want to share what their wish is?
I wish that I could write a story. A good story. Write a book. Maybe publish it. I wish that I could get 8 million subscribers on my YouTube channel.
To play hockey? Do you have any special position in mind, or just to get out there and play?
Get an award at school. That helps in life.
Now we can take those wishes and we can turn them into goals. And the secret to achieving your goals or making your wishes come true is to make a good plan. You're going to think about your wish and we're going to answer these questions. What is my goal? How will I know when I've reached my goal? Do I have everything I need? Why is this goal important to me? And when will I achieve it?
Why is it important to me?
Yeah.
I want to
There you go. That's a good reason to reach a goal.
Sorry, what was the reason? Say that again.
I want to get rich.
You can help your child set and reach their goals by making a plan, gathering resources, and setting a reasonable timeline, all while making sure to put those critical thinking skills to use and asking, how realistic is this goal? Though failure is an excellent learning tool, we do not want children to become discouraged if trying to reach a goal that is unattainable.
Very few, it's like 3% of all gymnasts in Canada make it all the way to the Olympics. It's such a small percentage, and that's, I think, for our coaches and our athletes, one of our goals is to keep it real. It's really to keep that right from the get-go, that absolutely you strive as high as you can, but let's set our goals, small achievable goals. Is a goal that's going to take work and it's not going to be easy, but it's achievable. So we really try and keep all of the kids' goals as achievable as we can, and don't try to downplay the big goals, but try to show that there are steps.
Skating's done so much for me in my life. I don't really know where I would be with it. It's kind of become part of what I do and who I am. Honestly, sometimes it gets really tough. Like, it does get hard. On rough days, you just keep on going, and eventually you'll get something right, and it feels amazing when you do. Like, when I step to the start line, it just reminds me that, like, this is what I love to do.
Your body can do so many things, and you can train it to do basically anything. And there is muscle memory. You just have to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. And eventually your body will remember it. But I feel like most sports are 90% mental. So to be able to sit down and just have a process, one thing I did was you would sit and imagine your routine in your mind. Because if you mess up your routine in your mind, then you're gonna mess it up when you go and do it. So to be able to just sit down and have like a mental moment, clarify everything in your brain, or if you're scared to do something and you just sit down and imagine yourself doing it and tell yourself that you can do it.
I try to motivate myself. Sometimes it's hard, so that's why I have to use friends, family, and coaches. Never give up, and if you ever feel like something's maybe going off the road that you're trying to go on, try something different.
Another key feature of building self-esteem is modeling both the behaviors and the thinking of someone with healthy self-esteem. When children see the adults in their lives modeling the traits associated with having a strong sense of self-esteem, just like most modeled behavior, they are more likely to follow suit.
We want to encourage them to see that we ourselves as adults will continue to try things that may not work out. And how we handle that is going to be a tool for them to use in the future. Well, that didn't work when mom tried it, but, she smiled and she thought about a different way. Or that didn't work, so we moved on and we did something else instead. And how we handled it is really what we want them to see. We want them to be able to see that there's a lot to learn. They are supported through their learning. They're supported in their learning. We want to encourage them to try things, even if it doesn't work out.
Failure can have a positive effect on children when they see the connection between hard work and improvement. When children can see failure as an indicator of what needs continued practice or learning, rather than a statement of unchangeable shortcomings, they are able to reassess, make a new plan, and move forward. Failure, when approached from a growth mindset and in a positive way, equips children with the skills necessary for success throughout their lives.
That's a big one, is that they know how to lose as well as they know how to win. Yes. And they can come off the floor and understand they can be upset with themselves and they can know that they could have done better, but they're not poor sports about it.
At Rosy Window Productions, our children's mental health initiative, one of our guiding principles is anchored in the belief that by getting the tools and processes of positive mental health into the hands of children, we will in turn move ever closer to our vision of a future filled with confident, empathetic adults who are well equipped to deal with life's mental and emotional challenges. The Honourable Mayor Laurie Ackerman of Fort St. John believes in the power of goal setting on a personal level, and due to her position must also employ this framework for achievement on a larger scale.
It's really important to stay focused on the intentions for the job that you have. Mine is to create community, and our official community plan is a long-term vision that our community has created. It's a fabulous one, and we have our bylaws, all of that stuff that are focused on that long-term goal. And that's creating a fabulous community so your kids can be raised here, your grandchildren can be raised here, and they'll go and get their post-secondary education somewhere, and they'll come back because they'll be looking for a community where they can work, they can raise their kids at good playgrounds and good amenities and good facilities and have a good life. And so that's our focus.
Learning to build healthy self-esteem, maintaining a growth mindset, and understanding and putting into practice the goal-setting process is just as important to our children today as it will be to them tomorrow.
She stood with the rest as the stone sheep heard, and Selma, wise Selma, shared a kind word. You made it, Shelley, all by yourself, from your thicket home to this mountain shelf. So take this advice if you take nothing more, and remember it always, no matter what for. When you think you can and you put your mind to it, you can and you will work your way through it. With a little practice, or more if you need it, and some faith in yourself, you will surely achieve it. Oh, thank you. You guys are really cute.
I want to get rich.